Hello, beer troopers, and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppers. Today, checking out some classic Belgian beer. We're checking out none other than Duvel. Duvel. I think the way you pronounce it is Duvel. It's so funny to hear people try to pronounce it. I've always said when I was younger, Duvel, but I think it's Duvel, which means devil. This is an iconic Belgian beer. And I was sure I reviewed this. I never reviewed this. I wanted to do this as a Throwback Thursday. And it's like, no, it's not going to be. It's going to be a review because I never reviewed Duvel. What the hell? I reviewed the triple hop version, the very first, and a couple variations on it, but never the original beer. So this is made by the Moortgat family, as I say. It's, as it says on the bottle, is made by Duvel Moortgat, which is a very big family-owned, I guess, brewery. They own Lowe's. I think they own Omegang in the States. Do they also own Firestone Walker? I think they own the La Chouffe beers. It's a very big company, and the Duvel is probably one of their most famous beers. So it's an 8.5 Belgian strong blonde ale, and it's pretty much the beer that gave birth to this style, and it's the beer that so many try to interpret. There's so many Duvel clones around. Duvel, Satan, I think one's called Satan Gold. Duvel means devil. There's so many strong golden Belgian blonde ales or Belgian pale ales that you want, whatever you want to call them, that are called something with devil or something like that, that are inspired by this beer, which just speaks of how big of an icon this is, and it must be really flattering that you've made a product that is so well known that people try to do their own spins on it. There's copyright things, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, it's also pretty damn flattering that people love your product that much that they want to interpret it and make their own version of it. I haven't had this beer in a long time. And the first time I had it, I was probably like 16, 17 or something, maybe even 18. I'm not entirely sure. It was when I wasn't 18. I was just of legal drinking age, or was I? I'm just so unsure. I can't remember what year it was, but I was in Nice in France with my family. Maybe it was 18 when I turned 18. Yeah, because 2009 was my final year of high school, right? Yeah. So maybe it was 2008. Yeah, there's 18. I was 18. So I think that might have been the first time I tried it. I was getting into beer, and we were in France. I remember my mom really loved Duvel. She was like, this is the best beer I ever had. Drank a lot of beer with my dad. We tried Duvel. We tried the Grimbergen beers before they were owned by Carlsberg, Pelican, Meteor beers. There was loads of French beers in small stubby bottles that we drank. It must have been 18 because it was also before I started the channel. And then I remember when I started the channel, I was like, oh, I need to drink Grimbergen beers. They were so good. I tried to hunt for them, which is funny. Now it's just like, but back to Duvel. Look at this. There's like this. Look at this. What? I mean, I just fished out a piece of marshmallow fluff. Cheating. Ooh, that was bitter. The head retention of this beer is crazy because it's so heavily carved. So we have all the info from the website, which is really cool. So it's a beer that's got a lot of process to it. It's pure spring water, it's barley malt and sugar that they put into this. And very pale malts. I think it's one malt variety. Barley, it just says barley malt. And then they use a lot of hops. So it has a lot of hop character from Slovenian and Czech hops. And it's fermented at 20 to 26 degrees, which is freaking crazy. Then it's matured, cooled down to 2 degrees. There's sugar added, and it's re-fermented in bottles in their cellars at 2 weeks, it says. And then after 2 weeks of re-fermentation, it then goes on to cold storage for 6 weeks. Like this, the amount of time it takes to make this and all the processes you have to have in place, it's crazy. So 8.5%, they say, enormous head, fine effervescent, silky smooth mouthfeel in the mouth. A standout Belgian beer. Should we try and get more? No, I don't know. This is purely just, I want a little bit of the head. Look. Wow, instantly. Super pale golden yellow beer. This is fairly fresh. This is a couple, was it from January, so it's quite fresh. It's May, so I mean, looks the part, looks what I remember, like what I remember. Slightly hazy. That's it. A filtered beer. I can never seem to remember. I think it is not. I mean, it's a bit hazy, the bottom of the bottle. Otherwise, like, I love this golden pale look to it. I mean, it looks like a Pilsner. Very effervescent, very frothy, rich looking white head. Let's check out the aroma and do better for the first time in years. Oh, very intense aromatics of coriander. At first, I was like, is this skunked? Is this skunky? Because I could smell something that was like spicy from a distance. But it's a coriander type spice. And what's interesting is this coriander note. A lot of brewers, they imitate it by adding coriander. But they have tricks to, make the yeast produce this crazy, spice phenolic character by, I guess, fermenting really warm. But it's really clean. It's very hoppy. It's very peppery and very grassy and very citric, actually, more so than I remember. I remember a lot of apple and pear as well. It's definitely there, and definitely green apple. I think this is actually also one of the case studies for acetaldehyde in beer, which is part of the reason you get really bad hangovers. Like, products with a lot of acetaldehyde will get you a lot of hangover because it's very, very toxic. But in small threshold, like in a beer, it's going to be okay. But if you drink a lot of it, you'll feel it the day after. But yeah, it smells pretty good. Very crackery malt character, very light. Let's try Duvel for the first time in a long time. Cheers. High carbonation. Holy crap, this is a dangerous beer. I forgot how good this beer is. It is like, this is 8.5% and it's bone dry and hoppy. Like, this is why people get so drunk when they go to Brussels. They sit in the cafes and they smash stuff like this and delirium tremens and stuff like that. They are so, like, I haven't had delirium tremens in a long time, but Duvel, this is so freaking crushable. It's almost like a Belgian-ish interpretation of Pils. It's like Pilsner meets Belgian beer in some extent because there's a good amount of hoppiness. Like, also, there is some sweetness, some sweet alcohol, but it's so dry and hoppy that it's not too much. It's just so dangerously drinkable, this beer. The flavor is very citric and very grassy, quite dry, spicy, coriander. It's a little bit, I'm getting more like white pepper on the flavor. Very clean, besides having that green apple taste. It's just a little bit, it's actually less than I remember. It's just like, to me, it's more like really hoppy. It's really got a lot of like Czech Pilsner type vibes with the very vibrant, grassy, kind of spicy, Saaz hop-like flavor profile. Maybe even a little bit nettly, like nettles or something like that. There's a little bit of a sweet yellow fruitiness, and that sounds weird, but it's not like, you can't specifically pronounce or pinpoint, I think, what fruit it is, but it's just like, I think, yellow fruit. Maybe a yellow pear. But let's quickly run through flavors. Very crackery, light kind of malt backbone. Yeah, just really crackery. Coriander, white pepper, nice spice. Also a bit of lemon, citrus kind of vibe. Grassiness, peppery, that white pepper really shines now. Nice bitterness going back. A little bit of alcohol sweetness. Not a warmth or booziness or anything, which is really nice. It's very well hidden alcohol, really, really dry, highly effervescent, well-carved beer, kind of almost a little bit champagne-y, and then a little bit of that green apple note. This is actually a pretty damn great beer, to be honest. Like, it's not something I would drink all the time just because it's 8.5%. Maybe that's why they made a version called 666 or whatever it's called. Duvel 666, is that the name? Which is 6.66%. So you can have a Duvel that's a bit more drinkable. But it's scarily drinkable. And the Belgian, like, candy sugar, whatever they use, or sugars they use for bottle conditioning and whatnot. People talk about sugar flavor in this. There's no sugar flavor. That stuff is fermented. That's why you have CO2 in the bottle. This is really good. Like, what am I going to grade this? 92, 93 or something like that. I'm actually really enjoying this. It's also a really fresh bottle, but I'm like, I forgot how good Duvel is. I wish it was a lower, like this would be a treat kind of beer, once in a while kind of beer, just because it's so strong. Or if you're going to an event where you can share some or with people together, like if you have a 750, that's almost like a 750. This would be almost too much as well. Although we drink 750s of big stouts, but then you also always share. I mean, it's just so freaking drinkable, but it's a beer you really want to share. Like you could smash this on your own, but you'd be in so much trouble. Which is like, this is just a case of really great brewing skills in terms of making strong beer drinkable, which is really impressive. I am surprised by how much I enjoy revisiting this beer. Wow, this is great craftsmanship. Is it the best Belgian strong blonde or pale ale? I don't know. Like if I think Belgian pales, I'd rather have that's also much more abrasive than this, but something like De La Sen's or Cinnabia or something like that. I like those more than this. This one is maybe a bit more easy drinking, which is crazy, but it's also, not as hoppy and aggressive as those beers, especially Tasbulba. But yeah, 92, 93 or something like that. It's a really, really nice Belgian strong blonde. I'm surprised how much I like this. Look at the head on the sides of the glass too. Wonderful, fun to revisit Duvel. And also a fresh bottle. So yeah, if you guys had a chance, semi-fresh. But if you guys had a chance to try Duvel from Duvel Moortgat, let me know what you thought of it. I was about to say Throwback Thursday spiel stuff, but it's not a Throwback Thursday because I never reviewed this beer. What the fuck? But yeah, if you had it, let me know what you thought of it. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe to the Facebook fan page, and Twitter, and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. I'm going to say cheers and some legendary Belgian beer. And see you guys in another beer review.